Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, it's the last great Coliseum here tonight from Thunder Valley. It's a racetrack that's halfway past the season point. We've got 5 races left in the regular season, and it's the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series live on V-Speed. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me is Alexander Gagnon. And Alex, it's all shaping up here in the points. It's going to be quite the spread here with a 4-win season. I tell you, I don't see anybody who's going to challenge Gabriel Ellison for that regular season points championship.
Yeah, obviously, Casey Carrington very much still in the mix points-wise, but at this point, I think realistically, he's the only other horse in the race right now alongside the 27. Ellison, obviously, 4 wins, the Carrington's 2, but we know that 43 pretty resourceful when it comes to snagging the wins that he has had this year. Never know what Bristol has in store. Could be an interesting one here tonight to see how this develops. Will we get the Bristol where everyone hugs up that outside wall that you see sometimes in these night races? Or will it be a bit of a wreckfest? And then from there, who knows what could happen.
Yeah, Bristol notorious for having, tight restarts. And even after the laps continue on, as we look at the track map, it's hard to get away from somebody here. It's less than, a mile, so half a mile just over that. Banking 30 degrees. Track's fast, but it's very difficult to complete passes, and lap traffic will be a factor throughout this whole race. So, good luck. If you started up front, we get racing under green for, 20 to 30 laps. There's a good chance that there's going to be a car in your lap, even if you're in the lead. And, the mistakes are made here. This is similar to Dover, a self-cleaning track, kind of funnels there on the exits and entrances of turns where it's hard to avoid things. So, carnage can ensue here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Guys will have to be careful here tonight if they want to have a good one. Race analysis up on your screen. 150 laps here today. Pit road speed limit will be 30 miles per hour in a very unique situation for pit road. They have front and backstretch pit roads here, so you'll have to enter on the backstretch if you pit on the front stretch. And with only about 16, 15 cars here, everyone should be pitting on the front stretch. So I would look to see that be a little bit easier for these guys. I know I've gotten confused here at Bristol and pitted on the wrong stretch, and you just have to be careful and keep in mind that when you're coming across that start-finish line, if you're planning on entering the pits, it's just around that next set of turns. So very, very careful. Schedule up on your screen here. Bristol, of course, like I said, we have 5 races left. We're going to Talladega, so polar opposites next week. We're going to one of the smallest tracks on the schedule to the largest track on the schedule, with the exception of Watkins Glen. And, yeah, it goes all the way from Phoenix to Homestead for those final 5 races. I think they did a fantastic job here with the schedule. Looking forward to what they have in store here tonight at the short track style racing. Well, let's take a track side now. Get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole here tonight, it's the number 24 of Michael Mullins. Delta Airline Chevrolet with a 14.574. That's cooking around Bristol. It'll beat Michael Sturgill by about 1/100th of a second. Starting in row number 2 is going to be Curtis White with Thomas Stokes. Then row number 3, Daniel Giroux, Tim Bruce, and the 411 will start in 6th. Dylan Rosenberg and Josh Taylor, 7th and 8th position, and rounding out your top 10 to start tonight, Jonathan Skavnicki and Casey Carrington in the 43.
And the rest of the field this evening, Craig Martin rolls off 11th, Jeff No rolls off 12th. Jose Ruiz and Sheldon Atkins elected not to take a time here. They will make up row 7. And the last car in the field tonight, Clinton Sneed in the 49.
The league owner, Clinton Sneed in the 49, and I'm really surprised. I know some guys dread this racetrack, electing not to take a time, starting in the back. That can be an option. It is a play, but as we see just before the start of this race, the 24 is going to elect to start on the outside of the front row. Should be quite interesting here for this start. I know the High Line a little bit more dominant, but here tonight from Tennessee, Sim Racer Hub Challenge Series underway. And a quick lap number 1 as Sturgill falls in single file. The top 3 all single file. You have to go all the way back here to the 43.
Caution's out.
Caution's out.
91
Jose
around.
Ruiz. 2 cars involved here. Doesn't look like any damage for these cars. I think it's just one of those self-spins. Look at the replay here. Just got loose on the bottom. I think Ruiz had actually lost it just prior to that. 91 came back up on the racetrack. Back on another replay here. I want to say Jose Ruiz had a connection issue here. Yeah, he did. He had actually missed the grid here tonight and had to come back out. That's actually going to bail him out. He's going to get his lap back.
Yeah, you never want to miss the green flag of the race, but you can't ask for a better situation than to get that lap back the second later. And, you know, out of Bristol especially, he had to wait the whole, 15 seconds or so before he was able to jump back on the lead lap. Massively fortunate break here for the 6.
Yeah, this is not the racetrack to miss the grid on for sure. You'll go a lap down almost instantly. And so for a lot of these drivers that have started out, this caution kind of changes the strategy. Like we said, 150 laps here tonight. That stage at lap 75, and based off of their fuel, they probably are going to make it to that stage. But now, if you were kind of thinking about the option of short pitting, you might want to reconsider it. And I don't think it's going to be as beneficial. Some of these guys are probably going to stay out past the stage just because of track position. It's going to be so hard to pass here tonight.
Yeah, Bristol, not a track that is particularly easy to pass at. You put it under the lights and it becomes that much more so. So I think track position, wherever you can get it tonight, especially if you're going to be able to get some during pit cycles, is going to be critical. I think it is a lot easier to defend a position here at Bristol than it is to go and take one.
Taking a look at the chat, Cheesy Cortilla in the chat here tonight. We've got quite a few viewers that popped in a little bit late, 4 of you to be exact. I'd like to welcome you in here to race number 11. Season. We saw a lot of fireworks there last week. We've seen fuel strategy races, an extension of that. Drivers trying to figure out the new extension of these races. I know with Michael Mullins and Casey Carrington, that's kind of been their strat. They maybe don't beat you on raw speed, as it looks like we're going to have a single file restart here. Green flag back out. That one caught me off guard. Thought we were going to double back up, but here we go. Underway.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting to see it go 2x2 as well. But single file restart, here we go. And just like that, back under the yellow, Clinton Sneed's around in the 49.
This is going to be a rough race for a lot of these drivers, I can already tell. Looks like every time they try to put the power down, this car's stepping out. It's going to take 2 or 3 laps, I'd say, to get it warmed up. Tire heat in this car, it definitely drives with the throttle, and full tires are not the answer here so far.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we are under the lights here at Bristol. This is a very chilly track, and you see the 49 just, from that angle at least, looks like it was around on his own. We'll see if he had any help here, but I'm pretty sure that this is just a situation of putting the throttle down too early on cold tires. Never mind. A little bit of help from Josh Taylor.
A lot of help from Josh Taylor there.
I'm going to undo everything I just said about the past 12 seconds here. Boy, he take a shot from the 7.
Well, I mean, we're not always right up here in the booth. We make mistakes. I can tell you that that was not intentional. If there's one driver on this racetrack that you probably don't want to run into on purpose, I would say it's the guy that owns the league. Try again. Important caution, green flag, third time. Third time's the charm, just like that head said earlier. Let's see if we can get it rolling.
Yeah, much like the headset issues before the show here, it's been a very stop and start with any sort of forward progress tonight. Looking like this might be the first full green flag lap we've had so far tonight. And Michael Sturgill trying to take advantage of it. He is closing in, looking to that inside of Mullins, who chops it down and says, not this time around.
Oh, into the wall for Sturgill, overshot the exit of turn 4. Really loose coming out of 2. He is pushing this thing for all it's worth. Track temperature tonight, 70 degrees, plenty of grip, but deceitfully so. You have that turn in, but with this car, there's so much horsepower. We're talking about 900 horses trying to connect to this concrete surface. As you see a dive bomb into turns 3 and 4, contact with the 3 and the 24. And Sturgill's your new leader with that brush against the left front.
Yeah, both of them got real loose off of 4. A little bit of contact between the two. Luckily, they were both able to catch it. They were right in front of White there as they made their way into turn 1. Almost got all 3 of them involved. And now it looks like they're going to settle in nose to tail here. Sturgill in the lead. It's been a quiet couple weeks for the 3 after a really hot start, trying to get back into victory lane for the first time in at least a month and a half here.
Riding on board now with Casey Carrington. He has his hands full. He was actually making some passes there a moment ago, got loose, and the 92 of Giroux got around him. Now Dylan Rosenberg back around the 43. And this is one of those moments where you say, uh-oh, he's not up there in the top 3 to start this race off. He started back in 10. This is not a place that he's going to easily work his way through traffic and find his way up there with the likes of some of the guys he's trying to chase in the points. But as you can see, tonight is going to be a good night for him because that points leader is not here in the field tonight.
Yeah, but this is also a situation where you'd love to maximize on the fact that Ellison isn't in the field tonight, but 11th certainly not going to be where he wants to be all night long. As guys like Sturgill and Mullins are going to be getting the lion's share of the points as they run. Laps very quickly ticking away here now that we've gotten into a green flag rhythm already on the lap 20. Sturgill leads by a quarter second over Mullins. Busier traffic deeper in the field here. Jose Ruiz, now that he's back on the lead lap with everybody, trying to pick up a few positions here. He's battling with Clinton Sneed.
Side by side through 3 and 4. Sneed on the move, up 3 spots now as he challenges Casey Carrington for that 11th position. Carrington moves up, closes the door. It looks like the high line working for the 49 right now. He gets a lot of momentum through this part of the track. And here he goes for another position. Clinton Sneed, even after that spin, didn't come down pit road. He's generated a lot of heat in those tires, and like he's ready to go. He's got to chase down Dylan Rosenberg by about a full second if he wants that 10th spot.
Yeah, he is on the move right now. He's looking pretty good. Another car that was on the move a second ago there, Michael Mullins, reeling in. Sturgill up at the front of the field. Can Mullins find his way on by? Goes high in 1 and 2, in 3 and 4, as does Sturgill. No progress really gained there, but they are getting right to the back bumper as they make their way down the back straightaway. Right now, Mullins has him in his sights, different lanes this time around. Going to try and generate that run to make a pass in 1 and 2.
Meanwhile, Curtis White hanging tough with these guys, keeping them honest. If they get the racing side by side, you know that Curtis White's going to be right there catching up to him. One of these two make a mistake, he's going to be there to capitalize on it. You see right there out of turns. I believe that was 3 and 4. Yeah, even on board, it gets confusing. Exactly symmetrical racetrack and kind of like throwing shoes in the dryer. Oh, contact! The 3 is Sturgill into the inside wall. No yellow somehow.
Wow, where? Barney the flagman taking a nap here in the early going.
Sturgill is not going to be happy about that.
Oh, I'm sure he is, and I'm sure those guys are going to be hot on the comms right now. Here's a look at what happened once again. Coming off of turn 4. Man, that is... And through all of that, Curtis White was the one who was able to pounce and take the lead.
I told you, the two got to race and made a mistake. He was going to be there to capitalize. This is coming out of 4 again here. Sturgill slides up, and I think the 24 Mullins had such a good run. Wasn't expecting that to happen. And now Curtis White
had nowhere to go.
Yeah. Curtis White takes under the point. But if I'm the 63 car, I'm going to try to put as much gap between me and the 24 as I can.
And the worst thing you could have happen right now if you're Curtis White is to get a little off speed coming off of turn 4 and doing a carbon copy of what just happened there with Mullins. You know the 24 can generate some really good runs down the front straightaway. So he's got to clear this lap traffic to the best of his ability, trying to get around Jeff No right now. First car to go 1 lap down tonight under pace. And there is quite a few lap cars up ahead. We'll see how well White and Mullins will traverse this.
And you've got some side-by-side forward position between Ruiz and Greg Martin here in the 22. So this is a battle for spots. If you're the 63, you're hoping they resolve this very soon because you're within a couple tenths of them. As you see, the 22 does complete that pass and opens up the door. Greg Martin kind of plowing the way here around Jose Ruiz. High line chosen here for Curtis White. It wasn't maybe, 10, 15 laps that we've been under green and already finding lap traffic.
White now puts the lap car of Ruiz between himself and Mullins. The only car really within half a second or within 2 seconds of race leader Curtis White. The 63 is showing really good pace here in the early going. Was right there with Sturgill and Mullins for the opening start of that run, and then when the two of them made contact, capitalized and is starting to pull away a little bit here from the 24. And then you get a little further on back, and it's Sheldon Atkins and Josh Taylor running 3rd and 4th. A great start to the day here for the 81. He's already up to 3rd from 14th.
So Sheldon Atkins picked up a lot of positions very early in this race. And like a top 3 finish here. Remember, Sheldon Atkins electing not to take a time. And we mentioned how sometimes that's not always the best strategy at tracks like this. Seems to have panned out well for him, though. Another light 81. 11 spots here. Josh Taylor having a solid night as well. Riding in the top 5, started at 8th, up 4 positions. A lot of people up here in the top 5 that have gained, but Michael Mullins is pretty much the only consistent one, besides Thomas Stokes, who is falling back slowly. He's been kind of by himself since the start of this race and hasn't really had any speed on the offense.
The field looks really shifted from where it started today. Some cars doing really good in the early going to make some moves. A couple of cars who got real loose, lost some track position, and then extenuating circumstances like we saw with the 3. Holding on to 6th place right now, not a bad run since that incident for Michael Sturgill. He's been able to keep himself inside the top 10, but can't imagine that car's handling quite the way he wants it to with the big cave-in right there in the nose.
The front end of that Lexus definitely damaged here. The Gold 3 trying to chase back down. Lap times last time by. Michael Sturgill was the 2nd fastest car on the racetrack. This time around, it doesn't look like that's the case. It comes and goes. And actually, Josh Taylor had the fastest lap time, 15.624. So he's actually taking it to Sheldon Atkins here for the 3rd spot.
Taylor diving to the inside there. Will he be able to make a move off the corner? Not that time around. You can see just how close the quarters get here at Bristol. Taylor, I mean, that was a good exit from both of them, and yet they nearly made contact just because there's really nowhere to go when you're going at this speed at this small of a track.
Continuing to hold on to that 3rd position. And catching him's one thing, passing him is an entirely different one. Taylor into the inside several times now. And they are shaving down time on Michael Mullins. Even though they're racing side by side, they're still pretty close on lap times. And as we talk about that, Curtis White, he has Michael Mullins back within a 10th now.
The pole sitter took a look to the outside there in the middle of the corner, nothing going, but he continues to run that high line. Curtis White has been really content to run the bottom of the racetrack a good bit of the night, and been really surprised to see how well that's worked out for the 63. Usually these night races, a lot of cars like to push up toward that outside wall. He's been making the apron work, and Mullins running a different line. He'll get that run that he likes going down the straightaways. It's just a matter if he can stay with the 63 in the middle of the corner to capitalize on that run he gets.
So what we're seeing here are 2 totally different approaches to this racetrack. The bottom line will save tires a little bit better. We're at less than 25 to go, and you see right there, the tires starting to get hot for Mullins. He brushes the outside wall and now has to start all over again to catch back up. 0.4 of a second back now. Josh Taylor prevails finally, gets up to 3rd. We'll look back there and see how he completed this pass. We had a little bit of traffic there with the 411. We'll back it up just a little bit further. Here's the dive to the inside. And looks like maybe the 411 used as a pick here in this situation.
I believe so. The 7 just drove it in deep and then was able to keep his line unimpaired from lap traffic. Meanwhile, Atkins not really anywhere to go. We'll have to fall back into that 4th position.
Back to our live shot. Atkins has now fallen off about a full second. Daniel Giroux goes by. Actually, Dylan Rosenberg going by Daniel Giroux. So looks like the 91 starting to come back to life here. And almost some contact back there. Casey Carrington had to go to the inside. Tim Bruce, yeah.
.411 really struggling with the handling on that race car at the moment. Just does not seem to be rotating the way he wants it to. And, you know, that time away from the wall, definitely down on speed. And that probably explains why he's one of the 3 cars a lap down at the moment, just trying to keep this thing on the track and moving in the right direction. As you see the 49 as Snead go on by there. That was not a pass for position as the 411 continues to be 1 lap down and in danger of potentially losing another one as Snead, who just went on by, I mean, he's the 2nd to last car on the lead lap, so.
Well, we talked about the 411 in qualifying. Looked like he had some speed here to start the race out. He was starting up in 6th spot, but looks like maybe that hit with the outside wall has hindered that car's handling bad enough that he's not able to keep pace. And we've seen damage with some of these cars. It's okay. Look at the 3 as the example. It hasn't been amazingly well, but he has been able to hold his own for some of this race, now getting passed by Clinton Snead, his teammate. But you know, for Sturgill, he's just praying another yellow comes out and he can get some of this repaired.
Yeah, that'll be a critical thing. Obviously, you know, we have the stage at lap 75, but, you know, no caution guaranteed at those stage breaks. This is simply one of those leagues where when you hit the stage, the points are awarded, but the green flag continues. So whenever he comes down to get new tires and get some more fuel in the car, he will probably try and get a little bit of that repaired, but he would love to do it under yellow when he has a lot more time to do so.
This just inside the top 10. Jonathan Skavnicki on the outside of Casey Carrington, your second place point sitter. The 92 of Daniel Giroux on the high line. There's 5 cars for position here, back and forth for 7th through 11th spot. It's a close one here, 1 and 2. P3 just not able to complete that pass.
Things are getting really bottled up in here. You see Giroux, Skavnicki, Carrington, Snead all in this group. Sturgill as well. Cars weaving back and forth, trying to find where their car handles best. Everyone went high that time around except for 4. Looks like he might be losing out a little bit to Carrington. They're going to drive it really deep into 3 and 4.
Room coverage here, provided on V-speed, and a nice center point here. Try not to get any gyro or vertigo on the broadcast. I hope this isn't messing with anyone's mind. It was getting me a little bit, but...
Yeah, about to say, you can only watch so much at Bristol before you feel like your head's in a little bit of a fishbowl.
Imagine being on board here. Right
yeah,
on
really.
board.
Well, speaking of which, maybe we should ride on board for a moment or two here, and just maybe just after the stage.
Yes, absolutely. Gonna get loud. I can tell you the sights and sounds from Bristol Motor Speedway in person in Thunder Valley, nothing quite like it. Drag strip, of course, that's why it's called Thunder Valley. Those top thrill dragsters, those top fuelers go through, and you hear them for probably a good 6 or 7 seconds past the time that they ran because it echoes off the mountains. Just it's an awesome place to be. Coming here back in the early 2000s, which is where these cars were thriving and all that horsepower, and it just, yeah, you absolutely need hearing protection to be in this stadium.
Yeah, for sure. Some tracks, you know, you go to one of those super speedways, it spreads out a little bit. You might need them the second they go by. Then you can take them off, chat with your neighbors or whatever. No such thing here at Bristol. It is just a beautiful cacophony of sound for lap after lap.
Now, the only thing you can hear is a tire blow. That's the only thing you can hear over these cars. I've heard that before. Outside of that, it's got to be a caution, and even then, it's still loud enough that you need your hearing protection. You can't hear the pit stops. You're looking right down on top of it. Essentially, a football stadium with cars in it, as we'll get a good look at it here. You know, right there in the
they
center
have
where
played
all
a
those
few
semis.
football games, yeah.
Yeah. Right there in the middle of the stadium is, you know, I'm glad that they decided to take the dirt off this place. That was the only time that I never really was a fan of this place.
I'm sure Curtis White, quite the fan at the moment. His lap 75 just concluded. He is going to be the stage winner here tonight from Bristol. And he's been looking pretty good ever since he's taken that lead over. He's led 48 so far tonight, and he's well on his way to leading a few more here.
Congratulations to Curtis White. I believe that's his first stage win. Maybe his second. I think he might have gotten one somewhere else.
Well, let me go to the old simracerhub.com and take a look.
Wow, what a segue. I like that.
What a segue indeed. It's like they asked me to do this once or twice before.
Well, while you're looking that up, I think it's also another perfect opportunity to tell you a little bit about our sponsors here. I know that you guys have been around here long enough to know we've read these quite a few times, but the first sponsor to talk about here is Rapid Fired Pizza. First Rapid Fired Pizza opened about 25 years ago in Dayton, Ohio. People love the fresh taste and the ability to create their own personal pizza with over 25 toppings. And now in over 25 cities across America, you can go to www.rapidfiredpizza.com to find a location near you. That one was completely from memory.
Pretty good.
We've done this a time or two, 11 times to be exact.
And to your point, you were correct. This is indeed Curtis White's second stage win of the year.
I thought he had one, and I can't remember. I'm going to guess what track it was. I'm going to say Atlanta.
That one might take a slight bit longer to confirm.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you look at stats all night. Let's look at the proofs in the pudding right here. We've got green flag pit stops.
Absolutely. Michael Mullins down pit road, the pole sitter. Going to get 4 fresh tires, going to fuel up here, and he'll be good to go till the end of this race if this thing stays green.
Josh Taylor also has come down pit road. No, I take that back. Sheldon Atkins. Josh Taylor did come down just before that. Michael Sturgill still out on the racetrack. Looks like some topping off of fuel only here for Jose Ruiz, but I got to question that because it looks like it hasn't gained him much. He's up here in the top 5, but almost a full second slower. Some of these cars behind him gonna catch him like he's sitting still. It's Carrington coming in for service. 91 of Dylan Rosenberg in as well. What time do you pit here if you're Curtis White and you've led 59 laps? He's stretched out the lead considerably here. He's got about 9-10 seconds over Clinton Sneed. I think for every lap that goes by here, the 24 and a few others are catching up. Actually, problems for Mullins on pit road. He had 58 seconds in the box, so possibly a speeding penalty here. And you know, this is an extension of what happened to him at Auto Club in week 2. He just made that simple little mistake that probably cost him that win.
Yeah, and you know, right now he is probably, going into the day, one of the 3 fastest cars, and after the damage to the Sturgill, one of the 2 fastest cars on track, and now got a number of laps down. So even if there's a caution, I mean, there's not really going to be any help coming from the free pass. He is going to have to put in a lot of work to try and get himself back in contention here, but it is going to be easier said than done because there is not a whole lot of time left in this race.
So I mentioned that with that caution extending, a lot of cars were going to stay out. You can see right here with Curtis White, who's the leader, Clinton Sneed, Jose Ruiz on fuel only, and maybe that did pan out better than I thought it would. He is now in the 3rd position. Jeff Noe, who came down, he was a lap down at one point, back on the lead lap now. He's 88 laps. He came down into the box a little bit earlier. So 88 laps, that puts us right around that second caution that, well, first caution rather. I can't exactly remember the times on that.
The first pit cycle would have been like lap 3 or 4. The second one probably around 7 or 8. They were both back to back super quick before we got onto this lovely long green flag run. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds now. Curtis White stopping into his box. This is going to shuffle up the field big time, but he'll have to spend a little bit less time in the box fueling up and maybe trying to give himself a bit of a tire advantage for this last 50 laps or so that's going to be underway. But will that be enough time, or did he stay out too long?
Jose Ruiz will work up to 2nd position now. Clinton Sneed takes over the point with a lap led. So how long, if you're the 49, do you stay out? I want to say that the fuel's probably got another 10 laps or so before you're going to be forced to come into the pits. Gabriel Ellison in the chat. Hate that I missed this one. Great broadcast as always, fellas. We appreciate you, Gabriel, coming in here and saying that. We always love the compliments. There comes the 49 now to pit road, and it looks like he missed the maybe he missed that commitment line into the pits.
We're going to have to see if he's going to be stuck here for a while or not, because It was dangerously close to where that orange box is.
Left sides go up on the 49. Jose Ruiz will take over, and yep, missed the commitment line there. Black flag for the 49.
That's a tough break. You know, we were talking with the 24 about some self-inflicted injuries costing them a potentially good run. It'll be the same deal here for the 49 at Clinton Sneed, who have been rallying back a little bit from that early spin on lap 7 or so, and put himself back in the top 10 conversation up until that moment. But that penalty, I think, is going to really, really cost him.
Yeah, he's lost 3 laps now, and that's just how it is here at Bristol. You know, a 30-second hold penalty, that's going to destroy his race. He's going to need at least 2 or 3 yellows to even get back into this thing.
And he won't be the only one, because he'll be battling with Michael Mullins for those points as well, or for those free passes if there were to be a caution. But with everyone coming down pit road, it means Josh Taylor has inherited the lead. He has got about a 3/4 of a second advantage over Sheldon Atkins, and then it's about 9 seconds back to Curtis White. So it looks like Curtis White might be on the fresher tires for sure, and he might be able to track these guys down, but lost a lot of track position to the 7 and the 81 by going long.
And there's the 3 of Michael Sturgill, who has much fresher tires than the 81 right now, trying to take one of those laps back. He ended up going a lap down. Sturgill trying to find a way around him here.
Oh, the
Yellow's out.
Not sure who it's for.
Well, let's see if we can. Oh, I think I found it.
Oh, yep, that'll do it. Whoa.
In front of Curtis White. Wow. And the
And
floor.
Josh Taylor. Or, sorry, John Skavnicki. Holy, we got to do a little bit of onboard action with those guys. That was unbelievably close. There's the onboard with Sneed as he loses it in the turn 1. That'll make it clench up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's actually
Skavnicki.
And this is who this caution actually benefits the most by being sure he was not involved in it. He will be the car to get the free passes. He was the first car 1 lap down. That is also going to trap the 49 and the 24 multiple laps down here. Jeez.
Yeah, that's your whole race right there flashing before your eyes.
Yeah, this situation has now worked out perfectly for Curtis White. You know, he had the fresher tires compared to the 7 or the 81. And he was going to have to use that green flag run to try and reel him in over the course of 9 seconds there. And now that part's gone, and he just gets to go right after him on the fresher tires. A dream situation here for the 63.
We're going to pull the 63 of Curtis White up into the broadcast booth. Curtis White, it's Bradley Cooper, Alex Gagnon. You got a copy?
I got you. What's up?
Well, Curtis, kind of a change of pace here with this caution. You had a long green flag run of over 90 laps. You had taken over the lead, and you've put up 66 of them. You've got the freshest tires in this top 3. What are the chances we're going to be talking to you in victory lane tonight?
Well, not anymore. We all pitted under the yellow, so now we're all in an even playing field, and that's what I didn't want. I was hoping we would stay green, so I could catch Sheldon and Josh, who were on old tires. I don't know exactly how it was playing out, but it looked like it was going to go green all the way to the end, but I should have known better. This is Bristol, after all. So we're just going to have to regroup and we'll have to give it our all in these last 40, 50 laps, or however many laps we got left.
Well, I know the competition is still there in front of you, but you had a few others that are no longer a factor with the 24 of Mullins and I believe that was the 3 of Michael Sturgill having issues in this race now. Does that kind of alleviate your mindset for possibly winning the race?
A little bit, but I'm trying not to think about that too much. I still got 2 more cars ahead of me.
All right, man. Well, good luck as we get ready to go. Doubled up.
Thank you.
Curtis White in the 63. He will start on the inside here in the 3rd position. Josh Taylor, Sheldon Atkins on the front row. This would be our first restart in about 100 laps. So here we go on lap 110 to take the green flag. Taylor on the loud pedal, out of the hole shot. Atkins caught sleeping, he'll lose 2 spots.
That's also going to really check up the 63 of Curtis White, who was trapped behind him. Stokes will go on by, Carrington will go on by potentially. Drops the 63 back to 5th, the 81 trying to hold on to 4th here. He's going to lose out to Carrington. Now we talked all race long, probably about back to the 40. Well, lo and behold, 40 laps to go. He is right back in position.
Yeah, he's found a way, and so he's capitalizing on the fact that Gabriel Ellison is in our YouTube chat and not out here on the racetrack. And the pass for the 2nd position here out of turn 4. He'll get to the door of Thomas Stokes. Curtis White, who we just talked to a moment ago, seemed to be a lot faster in the long run. He needs this race to go green all the way till the end to show that strength.
Yeah, it looks like he might have an opportunity to clear the 11 of Stokes here off of turn 2, and he'll do so. So Carrington up to 2nd, White to 3rd. White not content with the bottom step of the podium, though, takes a look to the inside of the 43. Nothing going that time around, but he's going to commit back to that apron where we've seen him so much tonight. See if he can find his way around Casey Carrington. And both of these guys, as they battle, currently trail by almost a second behind Josh Taylor, who on these now equalized tires at the field, starting to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, and it looks like for the 63 of White, that bottom line prevailed over the long run. However, it's not getting him the exit that he needs to get clear. And it's going to take probably another 20 laps or so for the 63 to actually get any kind of a run going here around Casey Carrington. And he'll stay right here at the bumper. It's going to be a tough day, though.
Big slide deep in the field for Scav Nicky, completely bottled up Jose Ruiz.
He actually had some contact there with the 55. Jeff No.
Yeah, but he was able to save it, but you see just kind of right in front of the 6 on corner exit there. They both lost a ton of time, but a great save from the 4 after a little bit of contact there with the 55.
And look who went back on offense there while we were taking that quick replay. The 63 of Curtis White got clear of Casey Carrington. He's on the move now to chase Josh Taylor down.
And Giroux got a piece of the outside wall behind him, but back up in 2nd here. Or actually this battle we're going to watch here real quick, Stokes and Giroux. Stokes makes it a battle here for 5th as Giroux had clipped the wall last time around. Right now that 92 holding on to the final spot in the top 5. Stokes trying to find a way by on the low side.
Still a full second though for 2nd place White to catch up. Almost contact coming out of 4. Nice move there by the 11 to not get back on the throttle. That was not going to work.
Yeah, that was a situation where self-preservation for both him and the 92. If he followed that thing all the way up to the wall or not, that could have been bad.
On board
Still,
in the
this battle
gyro cam.
continues.
They're going to keep going for 5th place. I mean, this is really the only side-by-side that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Carrington's kind of inching back in toward Curtis White, but right now Stokes and Giroux having a good scrap for 5th. You see Carrington looking back to that outside, trying to find his way around the 63. He lost that spot a few laps ago, but you know, these two continue as they battle to start to reel in Josh Taylor. The gap now only 0.7 of a second. Smallest it's been really since the drop of his restart.
By side for the 9th position, Jeff No peeks to the inside of Michael Sturgill, who's had that damage now for about 120 laps. He got very early contact with the 43, actually the 24 of Michael Mullins, who's now 2 laps down. Mullins back in 13th position after leading 12 laps, starting on the pole. Not the way this day should have went for the 24 team. Tough break here for him. Tough break for Clinton Snead as well with The strategy that he was working to probably get a top 5 out of this race makes that commitment line just a little too long and ends up getting a penalty. He's 3 laps down as well. So it's Josh Taylor, 6/10 ahead of Curtis White. Casey Carrington, top 3, starting to accordion back together in the closing laps.
And next time around, it'll be 20 laps to go here from Bristol. Josh Taylor, you know, he's been running in the top 5 most of the day, but has really come alive here in the closing laps. He's got the lead. He's got an over half a second advantage. He just got around the 22 of Craig Martin. And right now, this will be the critical thing for the 7 will be trying to get around any lap traffic that he comes across efficiently, because, you know, those cars may not be willing to give him as much of a break as they will the 63 when you are the leader versus the cars chasing down the leader.
Less than 20 to go. Less than half a second. Taylor just has to hold on now. So he sees that checkered flag. I know that's easier said than done. There's truly last night thought I was going to get a second place finish at Charlotte. Go into turns 3 and 4 with 2 laps to go. 4 tenths turned into no tenths. I got passed by 2 cars to finish that race.
Certainly not how you drew it up, but, you know, that's why you gotta be locked in until that checkered flag falls. You just never know what could happen. That's what makes this sport one of the best on the planet, is its ability to create a situation from out of thin air.
Well, we're creating a situation right here as we go down the backstretch. 0.3 of a second now. 63 of Curtis White has pulled away from Casey Carrington, and he's full offense for these last 15 laps.
Yeah, you see he is within striking distance of the 7 here. Only a couple car lengths separating the 2. The question has become, is this that much faster of a situation for the 63? Is he that much quicker than the 7? Or is the 7 trying to manage his stuff to make sure he can turn it on late when he needs to? The cat and mouse game continues to be underway with tickets, with the laps slowly ticking away here. Only about 13 to go this time around.
So for Curtis White, he needs to find the weak spot and press on it. And he needs to put pressure in the rearview mirror of the 7 of Taylor. That's how you make a pass here at Bristol. You force a guy into a mistake, make him overshoot those entries, maybe make him get back on the throttle earlier than he wants to by maybe putting your right front on that inside. It's really hard to do, though. Once you get into this dirty wake, you can see looks like White's had to change his line. He's been running the bottom most of the day, now running the higher lanes to try to catch those last 3 tenths.
You see Josh Taylor try blocking him that time around, but it was a suboptimal line for them both. White pulled right to the back bumper. 10 laps to go. Curtis White is on the scene.
This is what you want to see here in the closing laps at Bristol. 10 to go. He's got to do it now. The lap traffic's going to interfere here a little bit. That'll buy Josh Taylor a couple more tenths. Off the back of Michael Mullins.
It's got to be a weird situation for the 24, seeing the leaders come up right behind him, knowing that in a different circumstance, he'd be one of those cars battling for the win right now. Instead, he goes up top. Josh Taylor's going to slide below him. And Curtis White, another bad catch of lap traffic off of turn 4. It's twice in 3 laps now. Continues to kill the momentum of the 63.
Yeah, this has been 2 in a row here that he's got up and got some of that traffic back. But then that distance back, but every time he's had to pass a lap car, it's been on the exit of these corners, and that's really the worst spot to meet.
Yeah,
5 to go.
It's happened twice in 3 laps. It is certainly impeding the 63's progress, but Josh Taylor right now not going to be complaining in the slightest. It has given him the edge he needs right now to hold on to this advantage. However, he needs to be able to do it for 5 more laps. Shaping up for a crazy finish.
I can tell you this right now. If he makes one mistake, White's going to try to take it. I mean, you can't afford to let this race get away from you. You had it pretty much locked up, I think, if that caution doesn't come out. 0.2 of a second now. He's back on offense. 2 to go when they cross the line this time around.
Josh Taylor goes high, so does Curtis White. Diamond off the corner, back down the front straightaway. White's going to dive to the inside here with 2 to go.
White flag this time around. A lap and a half left here at Bristol through 3 and 4. The final time around this place, side by side. Josh Taylor playing defense. The 63 of Curtis White has one more chance into 3 and 4. He's got to take it now. Not going to be enough. Big dive here, but Josh Taylor is going to play enough defense, and Josh Taylor is going to be victorious in Tennessee.
What a great showing of how to manage a lead from the 7. You had to face a lot of pressure at the end there. You were talking about how the only way to make a pass here at Bristol, you got to force someone into a mistake. Well, the 7 made none of that, and Josh Taylor going to pick up his first win of the season, I believe, in pretty dramatic fashion. Yep, first win of the season for the 7.
This race interviews with your top 3. You're watching the SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series live on V-Speed. Final results after we take a brief commercial break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Bristol, Tennessee. SimRacerHub.com Challenge Series has concluded its 150 laps here tonight from Bristol Motor Speedway. It was Josh Taylor with his first win of the season. After starting in the 8th position, he drove up with that final caution, had the lead in the strategy, able to stay out there. Actually brought out a caution there with some of those guys about 20 lap older tires, and I believe Curtis White a little upset with that caution coming out. Ultimately destroyed his strategy and shattered his chance at a win. But he did come back and verse there within a couple tenths. He had actually peeked to the inside of White a few times, or Taylor a few times, but he'll come home in the 2nd position. Looks like Sheldon Atkins is going to get a top 3 here today, with Dylan Rosenberg and Casey Carrington rounding out your top 5. How about that for the 43? Probably made the best of his situation after starting all the way back in the 10th position. Daniel Giroux will finish in 6th spot with Thomas Stokes in 7th. Jonathan Skavnicki will come home 8th with Jose Ruiz in 9th. And Michael Sturgill, a very damaged Michael Sturgill, will finish in your top 10.
And the rest of the field here tonight, Jeff No finishing 11th, 1 lap down. Craig Martin The one car 2 laps down in 12th with Michael Mullins and Clinton Sneed 13th and 14th. Both cars with pit road issues tonight. And then Tim Bruce, the last car in our field, finishing 15th.
3 cautions and 5 lead changes here today to set this all up. But our first action to bring to you is our 3rd place finisher, Sheldon Atkins. Sheldon, I got to say, you fought, was tooth and nail there. You worked the strategy to have the tire advantage to get up there to the top 3, and that caution fell at the perfect time. You come down pit road, you even the playing field. It looked like this track had just kind of worked its way towards you getting a top 3 tonight.
Yeah, no, man, it was an absolute blast out here tonight. I love Bristol. If I could actually qualify worth a crap one of these weeks, I feel like I could have something for some of these guys. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, I suppose.
Well, and Sheldon, we saw you out there. Didn't take a time. You'd worked your way through the field relatively quickly, though. Within the first 30 laps, you were up in the top 5. Was it difficult after that moment, though, of passing all those cars to maintain those positions?
Yeah, it was pretty rough there for a bit because I had to go up there to the top because I started up on the outside and there just wasn't a hole in the bottom to really get anything done. So I had to go up there and kind of burn off the tires to get up there to I think I got up to Thomas. Then I kind of stalled out once I got to him. Then after that it was pretty much just bide my time until I get tires and came in, took the undercut with Josh and was in really good position because I was behind Josh, saving. Felt like I could have had an opportunity to win, if not, the second place, if things would have worked just a little bit different if we hadn't got that caution midway through. But 3rd place ain't that bad. It's been a rough spell the past couple weeks, so I'll take it.
The Miller Time 81 is going to have its podium finish here today at Bristol. Anybody that you want to shout out for tonight's performance?
Yeah, I just gotta shout out my teammates, the guys over here at RPM. We put a lot of work into this and a lot of practice, a lot of communication as well. Just big thank you to these guys for coming in here and running this with me, even though it doesn't always work out so well for them. But just a good team we got here, and pretty excited to see how we go for the rest of the season.
Sheldon Atkins, 3rd place here at Bristol. Appreciate your time, buddy.
No problem. Thank you for what you do.
And so with that, we move on to 2nd place. Curtis White is caught up with Alex Gagnon.
Hey there, Curtis. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Well, it's going to be a P2 result for you tonight. The stage win, led 66 laps. Basically about as good of a night as you could have drew up, except for the end in there. Talk to us a little bit about that battle with Josh Taylor at the end.
Yeah, it's Rockingham all over again. Lead a lot of laps, win the stage, and finish 2nd in a close battle for the win. The caution couldn't have come out at a worse time, especially considering I don't know if it showed on the replay or not. I was so close to being involved in it. Clinton got loose on his own and spun back up on the track, and that's what brought the yellow out.
Yeah,
And
we
Sheldon and
jumped
Josh,
on board with you, and that was that was a razor's edge between you and the 49.
we nearly had a code brown in the cockpit for a second.
I fully believe that.
But with Josh and Sheldon, they made the right call for stretching as far as they did. I don't know if they pitted super early, if they just stretched it, but it worked out in their favor because they were able to stay ahead. But the problem is we pitted under the yellow, so we were all in an equal playing field. And while you guys were pulling me in here under the yellow to give me my interview, I guess they changed it to double wide restart for that last restart. We agreed we were going to do single file. I don't know when that changed, but I guess it changed on that one. So we ended up going double file, and I had my teammate Sheldon on the inside, but he didn't control the restart, and he didn't have a good enough restart, and the cars on the outside just kind of ganged up on me, so I fell back to like 5th. I had to get around Sheldon, I had to get around Thomas, I had to get around Casey. I was being more patient with Casey because I thought, oh, Casey's fast, he'll catch Josh before I do, and we weren't gaining on him, so I had to jump back to the top, use my tires more to get around Casey so I could run Josh down. But the problem was I was already using my tires up. So I knew the moment I was going to catch Josh, my tires were already going to be gone. But I didn't really have a choice. I had to push it with the amount of time I lost on the restart. So, yeah, it was fun finishing 2nd at Rockingham, but this one stings, dude. Like, I felt like this was I should have won this one.
Yeah, the opportunity was certainly there. It looked like at first the no caution between Sturgill and Mullins was going to put you in the perfect position. Got the lead, were able to lead a bunch of stuff, got the stage, and then the untimely caution kind of undid that at the worst possible moment for you. It's been a tough one, but now 2 stage wins on the year. Still looking for race win. Number one, still looking for race win, number 1 of the year. Do you like your odds at any of the upcoming tracks? I know we've got Talladega and Darlington next. Do either of those jump out at you as potential, first time to put the 63 in victory lane, or was this maybe the best chance for a minute here?
I don't know yet, because I had this track in Rockingham circled when I joined the league, and I finished second in both of them. So this might have been it. But if I can figure out Darlington, which is in a couple weeks from now, I think, I might have a shot at Darlington, but I don't have a whole lot of experience there, so I'm going to have to put in some practice. If I manage to stick around for the playoffs, Iowa is a pretty good track for me, and maybe if I have some good runs on the mile and a half, but like these more, I guess, unique oval tracks, like the ones where you actually have to race the track more than the cars around you, I feel like that's where I've excelled. Like that's where I ran so well at Rockingham, right? I ran well here. I felt like I was gonna be up front from the get-go tonight, but I messed up qualifying, because qualifying, the track had a lot of rubber laid down already. I was thinking, well, I'm gonna run a 4. I'm gonna be up on the pole by like a whole 10th on everybody, and I qualified 3rd. I'm like, ah, dang it. And Michael Sturgill and Michael Mullins, they were racing really hard, and I guess I turned into Moses for a second. The seas parted. I don't know what happened between the two, but next thing you know, I came out the other end with the lead. I'm like, okay, now we can take care of business. So, yeah, it's just, I feel like even if there are races that I have a shot at the win, I just got to have a lot of stuff go right. And tonight I just had a lot of stuff go wrong with the stuff that went right early on to kind of counter that. But that's just part of the game. You got to have luck on your side. Luck's a big part of racing. Along with the skill and whatnot. So take second. It'll be good on points. It'll help me gain some ground on guys like Garone. Garone wasn't here tonight, so I might be able to gain some time on him and the 6 car. So hopefully it'll put me back up in the points where I felt like I needed to. Because after Rockingham, I went on like a whole month without a top 10 finish. It was miserable. So, but Kansas, we're on the uptick.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, since Kansas, we're on the uptick, and I'm hoping to keep it that way.
Yeah, about to say you're starting to get that thing going back where it needs to be at the right time here as we near the end of the regular season. Curtis, obviously not the win here tonight, but a great points night for you. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out this evening?
Well, shout out to you guys at V-Speed for bringing the broadcast on YouTube. I share the streams with my friends, and they watch it. I actually picked up a sponsor, MFF Motorsports. They've been on the side panel of my car. I've been showing them the races, whatnot. They've liked what they saw. Shout out to Clinton for running this league. I know he's been on and off lately. And he's also listened to, a huge shout out for this, he's listened to some of the driver's feedback that we had for Kansas. We ended up turning Kansas into a 110 lap race, that made it so much more fun, because if it wasn't, we would have been fuel saving like we did at like Vegas and Charlotte, and it would not have been fun at all. So I've got to give him props for helping grow the league. And this is a good league. I know the participation's dropped off lately for whether it's, I don't know, people out trying to recover from the hurricane, which I guess shout out to those guys too. I know I couldn't imagine, as someone from the West Coast, I can't imagine what those people are going through. So hopefully all those people can make it through unscathed. Shout out to my teammates. I know Michael Mullins, I got to talk him up for a second. I know I'm yapping a lot, but he had no hope. He was not confident at all, and he qualified on the pole, and that made a switch. He probably would have had as much of a shot at the win as I did. So shout out to him. Shout out to Sheldon and Thomas too, my teammates, and shout out to everybody, I guess.
Awesome. Well, Curtis, congrats on the run tonight. Great points tonight for you. Peaking at the right time, potentially, to get this 63 car into the chase. Excited to see what you've got in store for us the next couple weeks at Talladega and Darlington. And until then, enjoy the rest of your night, and congrats on the P2.
Thank you. And also shout out to the sponsors for this league too.
Alrighty, and that was second place finisher Curtis White here tonight. Came up so close, but ultimately lost out just a little bit to the car, who edged him out by about a tenth and a half.
I have that car down here in victory lane. It was Josh Taylor that got the victory here today. And Josh, this puts you in another great scenario. You know, it's your first win of the season, but, you know, you got Curtis White back there that was looking for his first win. You've got some drivers that have, you know, combined 5 or 6 wins. You're able to best all of them here tonight at the short track, the place that you probably wouldn't expect your race to go clean. You did it perfectly. 0 incidents. You led 51 laps. How does it feel, man?
It feels great, man. Honestly, it finally got the monkey off my back, and clean race like you said at Bristol, and I've had so many incidents the last 3 weeks or so, and it just felt, finally feels good to have a really solid race, and tough finish there at the end too.
Well, walk us through the start of this race. You qualified back in 8th and kind of ran around that mid to, 5th to 10th position most of the night. But then you get this strategy that falls into your lap. You short pit by about 15, 20 laps. Suddenly you're leading this race. What was your mentality there going into the final 50 laps? Did you feel like this was the winning call, or did that caution help bail you out?
Well, yeah, I kind of hit the wall in qualifying, so it put me back there. And the first run, I really tried to save my tires, and I drove all the way up to third, and once I got to third, my tires were really worn, and I think the leaders were about 4 seconds in front of me, and I thought the only chance I had was to pit at halfway, so I pitted lap 75, and came out. And I think I had a pretty big lead. I don't know if those guys could have caught me. I'm not sure. I think they were like a good 12 seconds back, so it would have been close. I mean, 60 laps is pretty quick. And the caution comes out, so we all pit. And yeah, I got a really good restart. I think I got like a good second, almost a second half restart. And I knew that Curtis probably would catch me, so I tried to really maintain a pace and not try to wear the tires out. So once he caught me, I could, maybe start moving up the track and, making it really difficult for him to pass. And I think once he finally got to me, his tires were really shot. He could barely get to my, to the door. And I think that was kind of, the plan, just to stay up top with about 20 to go or so.
Well, it's a RPM 1-2-3 here tonight, and I know that that's kind of a weird scenario as well when you're out there racing your teammates for a possible victory.
Who's my teammates? I don't think I'm teammates with.
I
I'm
guess
teammates with like Jeff No
maybe
and
yeah,
Jose.
Josh.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
yeah. No, you're right. No worries.
Well, we got 5 top 5s with your first win. You're the 6th different winner here in the Sim Racer Hub Challenge Series. Outside of me making a mistake with your team, who do you have to shout out for tonight's victory?
Shout out my team. They were keeping me calm in the comms when the last 50 laps or so, and Jeff was cool. Jose, he's the whole race. Good communication on how we need to drive the track and everything. So shout out the team.
Josh Taylor, victorious here in Tennessee. We appreciate your time. We look forward to next week at Talladega.
Thank you, sir.
To apologize if Josh Taylor was hanging out with them, so I wasn't entirely sure, but nonetheless, it was a great race here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the action. Any final thoughts here before we let him go?
I mean, watching this, the first couple laps of this race made it feel like it was going to be a wreck fest with the 2 cautions in the opening 10. And then there was one for the 140 that came after that. Got to remember that this league continues to just have so much long green flag racing that it's just a blast to come here each and every week. And, it's going to be a real tonal shift, I think, next week, going from Bristol to this behemoth that we're seeing on screen.
It'll be October 22nd for week number 12, Talladega Super Speedway. The 2.66 mile oval in Lincoln, Alabama. It's going to be pack style racing at over 200 miles per hour. Hope you guys can join us at 9 p.m. Eastern Time next Tuesday. Also, here on V-Speed, we've got plenty of racing left to go on. Racing Revolution will be Wednesday, and then QSR and their Chase for the Cup. More Gen 4 racing at 9 p.m. this Thursday. Saturday Night Racing League, of course, with their Challenger Series and the Cup. And back to Sunoco as we break it down for our round of 8. If you guys can join us there as well. But for everybody at V-Speed, Adam Baker, for all he does in the background, co-owning here, Alex Gagnon joining me up in the booth, our other producers, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Christian Hill. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time here on V-Speed. Stay tracking, everybody.